how'd you pull up after round one?
Yeah, really good. Really exciting to win, obviously. Probably a few nerves going to round one, first game for me in a very long time. But yeah, feeling really good.
And it wasn't an easy first up opponent for you either in Alice Edmonds, probably one of the few who can match you in the height department. A fairly big challenge first up.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't think of any sort of opponent as, easy or anything like that. But she's, super strong athlete, which was great for me, really, like to have that challenge. So I really enjoyed it. It was great competition. But yeah, great for us to have won collectively.
How is it being back, in the AFLW ranks? Obviously, you had your time off and stayed abroad, but how is it, being back with the Cats?
Yeah, it's obviously changed a lot. It was about 4.5 years since I was last here. Changed a lot in terms of, the number of players that have come through, like the talent development pathways, obviously. Back when I was playing, as a lot of players new to footy, I was one of them, obviously, cross-coders and whatnot. So that's a real big change that I've noticed. But in many ways too, it's really similar, like this club has such solid values and, and personnel, I suppose, that is still here and still championing the same things. So in some ways it's a lot different, but in some ways it's been really easy for me to fall back into the fold.
Erin, was a +7 in clearances in total and a +3 out of the middle. In terms of, I guess, the synergy and the connection that you and the midfield have, just from what you've been able to gauge in round one, how's it been? What was it like to observe, I guess, the connection that you guys were able to gather throughout the middle in that context?
Yeah, we certainly feel extremely connected as a team and as a midfield specifically. We've had a couple of practice matches and obviously match playing trainings and whatnot. So that connection extends beyond just those of us on the field to all players who could potentially play in the midfield. Obviously super talented players that I've got the privilege to tap down to and to try and protect in different ways as a ruck. Feeling really connected, but obviously being round one, we've still got a lot of growth to occur and that can sort of only occur during matches. So looking forward to hopefully strengthening that connection as we go on in the season.
Obviously, you mentioned about the pathways have changed, but how has the style of footy changed? I'm sure there's things that are quite different from your last hit out at AFLW level.
Yeah, the comps certainly changed and evolved. I think one of my teammates said to me the knees have got quite a lot bigger than when you last played, so to be ready for that. It's growth, isn't it? It's growth in all different ways. The development pathways, like I said before, I suppose even like the experience of being on field is probably a lot different to when the comp certainly started when I was last playing. I spoke about the pace a little bit after the game on Saturday. The pace is a lot different. And I suppose too, just our, foundational skills, I suppose, as well. There's been a lot more time for that to be practiced within the best possible competition across the country. So naturally that's got a lot stronger as well. It's a lot. There's a lot of changes and a lot of differences, but obviously the trajectory is very exciting for our sport, and is obviously just going to keep on exploding.
Have you surprised yourself with how quickly you have come back and how quickly you adapted to AFLW footy? Obviously the number one pick in the supplementary draft, so in demand. But do you take some pride in how you've been able to come back?
Obviously it was that Geelong had the first pick and that they wanted to take me, so it wasn't number one pick in the traditional sense. But certainly felt really confident coming back into the club because I do know the club so well and, obviously love the club so much. So I really wanted to be able to give back the best way I possibly could. I've got a lot of learning and development to go, obviously, just getting back to playing footy and, reconditioning and all those types of things. But I've got a, really good mindset. I'm aware that my role could be on field or off field, and I'm really confident being able to play that role if it's, tapping down to the midfield or if it's competing against our other rucks at training to help them be the best they can possibly be. So I just feel really confident in that mindset and probably, I suppose being a parent as well, having really good perspective on what it is we have to offer the team as a collective as opposed to individual athletes.
how are you finding?
Apologies. In terms of your love for the club, which you just touched on, what was it like being back in front of the Cats faithful once again?
Yeah, I had to be really careful not to get too emotional because it's, obviously all around performance and wanting to win and to compete in the game. But it was really special. My toddler was in the crowd, so I intentionally didn't look out for her until after we'd finished and the job was done. Really special to be on the field with Renee Gehring, who's obviously come back as well after becoming a parent. We've known each other a long time and we're really good friends, so to have a similar experience in return to sport was really special. I just feel such pride every time I get to wear the jumper. There's a lot of people, I suppose, who'd be, really envious and working really hard to be in the position I am in. So I want to make sure I really honour that privilege and compete the best I can.
So a bit of a similar vein. How are you finding the balance of everything? Because you're working, you've got the cats, and you've got two little ones at home. It's pretty full on sort of things you're juggling there.
Yeah. No, thanks for that, Sarah. I think probably the biggest enabler has been this club and how supportive they are for mums. There are 4 of us in the team that have children, and the flexibility, the how adaptive the program is, accommodating, the openness to learning from our experience being parents, coming in to the club and seeing how they can support us, which ultimately makes us better athletes, obviously. But a lot of this is new for our sport, but probably just for sport generally. So the support from the club has been the biggest enabler, I would say. And then obviously just sort of learning as we go. Like for me, it's somewhat sort of week by week, approaching training and just getting reconditioned and all the rest of it. And I've obviously got huge support from work as well, working at the AFL, near you, Sarah. A lot of support from all different areas of my life.
I guess one thing that we didn't really touch on with Aislinn before is talking about Sydney coming up this week. So I know it's early days in the week and there's still a lot of game plan still to be had as the week goes on. But what has been the messaging from Dan in preparation for the Swans this coming week?
So we'll go into this, immediately after the game on Saturday. It was immediate focus to round 2, obviously, to make sure all our minds are in the right space to get ready to compete again. It being only Monday, we haven't come together as a group yet, but we will do and focus our attentions on lessons learnt from the game and then lessons going into informing us for round 2. But we've got our structures and we've got our training program and it's pretty consistent in what we focus on in making sure we're the best sort of prime position that we can possibly be. So nothing overly specific at this point, but obviously they'll have amazing momentum from their win on the weekend and really respecting what the game will bring and making sure we're up for the competition.